Hello and welcome once again. Today we're going to make a really cute teddy bunny. Its texture is like a teddy bear, but it's a really cute bunny. And I'm just going to show you how I made it, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. I started off with some carded wool, and this time it's Shetland, I think. So I've taken a bit elongated shape because I want to make a slightly bigger bunny, and the head is slightly bigger than the teddies I've done before. So I'm making an elongated shape and just going to put in eyes first and then develop, because the eyes I've got have a very thick end, and so I put them in first and then I felt around them, so it makes things easier, and the eyes don't seem to be popping out. Now I'm attaching the forehead, just a little piece of wool, and I felted it loosely. I need to attach it and make forehead, and the edge of it will be the nose. So you have to shape things as you go along. As I've mentioned earlier, and if this is the first video you're watching, I'm a self-taught felter, and I want to encourage all the people out there who want to start into felting. It's really an amazing hobby and it's really addictive. So I do make mistakes along the way, and I have to figure out how to fix them. And wool is kind of forgiving, and you can make mistakes and then you can just fix them. So here I'm putting eyelids and shaping them. Just little pieces of wool, and you have to take little pieces and develop the shape, because you can't take wool off once it's felted down. Now I'm making the mouth and shaping it onto the face. Here I'm making the head a bit bigger, so you can see that I'm attaching little wool at a time and developing the shape that I want the bunny to be in. A little bit more onto the forehead. So now I'm happy with the shape of the head, and I'm going to make the body. Just roll some wool and felting it down. This is also an oval shape, and I'm going to attach it to the head, and I find it easier if you just put it upside down and just stab all around, carefully attaching the neck to the body. I'm putting some wool around the neck area where I've attached the head to the body, so it seems seamless, and you can just hide the joining mark. Just add a strip of wool around the neck. Now I'm going to shape some limbs. I've made one arm and roll some wool, and you have to keep rotating it to get a round shape. So as you felt down, with the other hand keep rotating it so you'll get a round shape of an arm. You can leave some fluff at one end that is going to be attached to the body and roll the other end into a little paw. But it's going to be covered in wool anyways, so it's up to you how much detail you want to give in. I did add details, but then I just covered it with wool so they don't show. Trying to make them both look exactly the same. So just trying to get as close as possible. Now I'm going to make 2 feet. I've shaped one and trying to get the other one to look the same. Folded some wool and felted it into a shape of a foot. Just trying to see where the curve is going to be. So they have to be the same shape and size. Left some fluff on top where I can attach the leg to it. One heel looks a bit smaller, so I'm attaching more wool to it, just so they can be of the same shape and size. Can't make that one smaller, so adding more wool to the other one. And the legs are to be done the same way. Just keep rotating it, otherwise you'll get a flat leg, like you can see on the edge of my mat. That was a fail. Once you've made both the legs, you can attach the feet. I'm giving some details to the foot, and I've just added some eggshell. Yeah, it was called the eggshell, the merino top, and just added that. And with brown wool, making the toes, just defining them with brown wool. Now they are defined, and I'm going to attach the leg to it. Just hold it vertical and stab it down from all the ends so it gets attached to the foot. Now attaching it to the body. Now it's time for the ears. It's just total wool. I usually make ears of the same color that I'm going to put on top, but as I'm going to cover it with the wool yarn, I'm making it with the core wool itself. I'm adding the same eggshell color to it. Once you made one ear, the second one is easier to do because you can just place it on top of the wool and you can get the same size of ears. So here I've used some fluffy, snuggly wool and got it from Hobbycraft. It's a nice bunny color, it's called. And here I'm showing you how I attached it to the ear. I started from the front, and you have to carefully felt it down, and you have to keep straightening it so it doesn't get twisted. And this is easier to work with because it felts easily, but as the ears are thin, it gets a little tricky. And I'm covering the edges with it, and I'm going really close so I don't leave any space in the middle. Once the rims are done, then I'm going to fill the back. It is very time consuming, but the results are really nice, and if you enjoy the process, then you're going to enjoy this. But it takes an awful lot of time because you have to really get the wool in and make sure it sticks in. And with the ears it's tricky, but the bodies it gets easier because the body is more chunky and it holds the yarn better. Here I'm showing you a bit of the behind the ears, like the part that's going to show from the back, and I've just gone around in lines and filled it all up. I'm adding some more wool to the front just to make them a bit more chunky, and it will cover all the needle marks if you can see them. And this is how I covered the arms. You have to cover them first before you attach them to the body, so it makes things easier. I'm trying to cover the whole space without leaving any gaps where the coral would show. Once the arms are done, then you can attach them to the back, and they do become a bit firm and chunky after you've covered them with wool, so you have to leave quite a bit of the arms so they can get attached to the body. So don't cover the whole of the arms, just cover half of them. I'm adding more wool just to hide the joinings and make the back a bit more in shape. Same way you have to go around the legs, and as they are attached to the body you can just keep going and leave no space. You can go in any direction you like. I've just gone randomly and tried to fill the whole area. You can go in lines if you like, but the purpose is just to fill the whole space. And the legs are a bit tricky because you have to go into all the curves and joinings, so you don't see the coral once it's all covered. So for the legs I've gone in lines, it's really close together. This need to be done carefully, and I want the wool to just go around the feet. So if you're seeing the bunny from front, you should be able to see some wool around the feet and the toes, so you have to do that carefully. And it's a very thin yarn, so it is going to take some time covering up the whole bunny. Just twisted some wool into a thin thread-like shape, and I'm going to define the mouth and the nose with it. I'm still not happy with the shape of the head, and so I've attached some more wool to just make it a bit bigger and just covered it all around so it gives a bit of cheeks as well. And then I'm going to start covering it with the wool yarn and around the nose and very carefully around the eyes and the eyelids. And I covered a bit of it. I realized that I should attach the ears first and then continue with the wool. So I'm just putting them in place with some pins, and they have become really chunky, firm. So, but I had left a bit of fluff uncovered so I can attach them to the head easily, because it's difficult to get the needle in once the wool is attached and you have just pinched the ears to get them in shape. So as you can see, I'm trying to attach them, and I've pinched the ends to make them look more like bunny ears. And as they're heavy and big, they keep falling, so I have to get the needle right in the middle as well. As they're heavy, they tend to fall on the sides, so I'm felting them down from the middle as well. I really have to attach them firmly so they stay in place, and once they're covered with wool, like their edges, they will remain in shape and in their place. They won't fall. Once the ears are in place firmly, I covered the whole face with more wool, and as you can see, it's all done, but somehow it looks a bit hunched face, and I gave it a bow with a ribbon, and I stitched on a little button as well. It's cute, but I wasn't happy with it, so I changed things a bit. I added more wool to the cheeks and forehead just to make it look as I wanted it to be. So there are no mistakes in felting. You can just change things around, make them look as you always wanted them to. So this is what I've done. I've added more wool on top of all the wool that I spent hours attaching, and then I gave it a little smile, and now I'm happy with how it looks at the end. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the process, and you do make a little teddy bunny yourself. Thanks a lot for watching, and do like and subscribe for more cute creations. I hope you liked this one, and I'm going to make more things and show you how I did them. Thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you in the next one. This is the end result, and I'm happy with it. Attaching a little more wool to the eyes. As you can see, you can just keep adding details, little pointy ears, just pinching them down, felting them. Thank you very much for watching. And here he is.